Okay, Olive Garden is coming back to Ontario. Recipe Unlimited, which owns Swiss Chalet and other brands, acquiring the Canadian rights to the Italian restaurant chain. It plans to open restaurants at Vaughan Mills and in Ottawa this summer. There are currently 8 Olive Gardens in Western Canada. Recipe Unlimited says it's planning a national expansion of the Olive Garden brand, which was last seen in Ontario in the 1990s. For more on the opening, or reopening as it were, let's bring in retail analyst Bruce Winder. Always appreciate talking with you, Bruce. I'm actually curious about this one because I thought that a lot of these chain restaurants, even Olive Garden, were not having the best of time keeping customers in this day and age. So I'm curious that Recipe International, I think they own quite a few brands, I think, in Canada already. So they're already big on brands. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's quite an interesting development. I mean, I remember going to the Olive Garden, in the late 90s, and I loved it. I think Canadians in Ontario, specifically Ottawa and Toronto, Vaughan, will be excited about trying it again. But to your point, Andrew, the restaurant industry is a really tough business. The Food Professor put out a report recently that anticipated about 4,000 restaurants are going to close this year. We've all seen significant inflation in restaurants. There's been spotty service in some restaurants, and Recipe Unlimited, is the big conglomerate that owns Swiss Chalet and a few other things like Kelsey's. So it'll be interesting to see sort of what their value proposition is when they launch these two this summer.
I'm also curious in terms of value proposition. Olive Garden's value proposition is come inside and we will feed you until you burst with breadsticks. So, I mean, that's not necessarily I know bread is for, it is compared to a lot of other staples at restaurants, one of the dirt cheap staples that they have, and that's why it's served to you early. But I still can't see this necessarily being the easiest business model in this kind of economy, and also with the demand. So what do you think about you said people are excited. What do you think the brand may have to do to keep the people coming in after that first try?
I think they're going to have to offer good value. I mean, that's something that's really missing a lot today in a number of restaurants is good value. A lot of people shake their head when you look at, the prices of dishes now, and then you have massive tip culture, 18, 20, 25% on top of that. A lot of Canadians are staying home. They don't have the money, the disposable income to go out and go to restaurants as much. So they're going to have to really wow customers. Expectations will be high.
What do you think is the big difference between when Olive Garden under the former licensee owner and the current iteration? What do you think the difference is really in the landscape, as it were, of the restaurant industry now versus then?
A lot tougher now. Margins are thinner. Labor costs are higher. Costs of food is a lot higher. Insurance, rent is higher. So it's a really tough business model. And I guess Recipe Unlimited, because of their scale and volume, they've got a chance of doing it right. Let's hope that they convert it well. But much tougher industry now than it was, say, 20 years ago.
So basically everything's worse, but breadsticks may stay the same.
Exactly.
Bruce, anything else you're keeping your eye on when you look at a story like this?
No, just personally, I'm excited as well. I went to an Olive Garden in Buffalo a couple of years ago, and I was excited. But yeah, just interesting to see sort of the churn and what's old is new again, and nostalgia. And going to be keep my eye on this.
Well, we're going to have to keep an eye on it too, and maybe a fork. We'll have to see. Bruce, appreciate your time as always. Retail analyst Bruce Winder, thank you.